Good morning and welcome to Money Monday on the Daily Huddle. We're excited to be here with you today, and we've got a lot of things to talk about like we normally do, and want to focus everybody on mindset again. So we have on these Mondays, it's mindset, money, sometimes money mindset, and we're going to talk about how the two go together today and how your mindset can affect your financial success. But before we do that, I want to start with a quote from Zig Ziglar, which I thought was kind of thought-provoking. He said, "Rich people have small televisions and large libraries. Poor people have large televisions and small libraries."
Mm. Good morning, everybody. I am Kimberly. This is Zack. We are your hosts for Money Mondays. So we're excited to have you guys today, and we're going to talk about how mindset affects your money. So super excited to have that conversation and to talk you guys through that. But before we do, we got a few questions, right, Zacko?
We do. We do. So let's start with Kimberly.
Oh, of course.
What time is it and what are you grateful for?
The time is now. The time is always now, right? It goes by just like that. So the time is now, and I'm super grateful that yesterday was beautiful and we went on the boat.
Yeah, that was a good day. So,
Good day.
all right, Chase, good morning. Where are you and who will you hug today?
Grand day. I am right here in the present moment, in the now. And I will hug my good friend today that I'm going to meet with for a little while, who's going through some troubles. Nice, big hug just to set everything straight.
Awesome. That hug will help, I'm sure.
Yes.
And Sorrel, how are you? If you can join us.
I am here and I am awake. And that's how I say I am. You know, some people say woke. I say awake.
Awake.
You are awake. It's 9 a.m. So good thing to be.
Well, I tell you what, we're coming to you guys this morning after just spending last week in Las Vegas with our HCI National Convention. We do that once a year, and it's always exciting to be around people that are successful and positive and thinking in that positive direction. So we wanted to kind of circle back around to how mindset affects your financial success in general. And so there are a lot of things that I drew. While we were out there, obviously we got to surround ourselves with people that are making lots of money, and also talk to them about what they're doing in the same industry and the same company that we are. And it was fascinating to me. I emceed a couple of different times, and I was on backstage talking to these guys as they were coming up. And we recognize all the top earners and all those kind of things during the award ceremonies. And a lot of these guys are incredibly analytical. They're very, and you think, there's a tendency to look at the group. A lot of them are from India, so you think that they're just, everything's a magical math problem, and they've got this all put together, and they're doing something differently because of who they are in the money business, and that's really not the case. The number one thing that I got across the board asking these guys questions on their way out onto stage to talk for just a few minutes, I would just take a minute and ask them these questions, and it was literally that they had to see themselves in a different light. They had to see their possibility for success and for money in a different light before they could switch from. And some of these guys are leaving $200,000 and $300,000 a year salaried jobs in the IT world to do that, to do twice that, three times that in helping others manage their money and teaching financial concepts. And so it's kind of a paradigm shift when you think, wow, they're pretty good income already, and they had to see themselves more financially successful in order to change their paradigm, if you will. So I wanted to talk about that, and I've spent time making notes and some other things, but I think the most important thing we can realize is that our success financially is directly attributed to how we see money and how we treat money and how we think about money. And that goes back to, we have to go first back to our own experiences and see where we developed our view of money and finance. And so we can find the root of our thoughts and adjust that. From that perspective, some of the things that I was reading as I went through here is obviously your childhood experiences with money. What was your household like growing up? Was money scarce? Was there a lot of conversation about that? It's really funny. Kimberly and I got into the money business in 2002, and we had, when our second daughter was born, and we had like took off like a rocket ship in the success direction. Made a bunch of money, had a lot of things going our way. And then you guys might remember 2008 came along, and there was a little bit of a correction. We were in the mortgage business really heavy back then, and the mortgage world just stopped in 2008. And it's funny because our oldest daughter still, because she was at a formidable age when our finances changed drastically, and we didn't have a lot of conversation with her about that. But she'll still, when we sit down for a family dinner, she'll order and be conscious of what she's ordering costs. And that is attributed directly, in my opinion, to an experience she had as a child. Now, our other ones, they can order whatever they want, and they're not going to worry about that. But she's funny; she's still that way. So
she remembers going from soda to water.
Right, we're going to have, and that was a great health moment. That was an unintended consequence because we quit drinking soda forever at that point. But that was the reason. It was, no, we can't add that extra money to the bill. We're going to all drink water. But so your childhood experiences. Think about that. And then your cultural and social influences. If the people that you're around socially have a negative view of money or a negative view of people with money, then you're not going to attract a lot of positive thoughts about making more or changing the way that works. Your education, what were you taught? Were you taught about we've talked about Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad book. And from an education standpoint, if you haven't read that book, go back and read it, or if you have, reread it, because he talks about understanding money from two different perspectives. And one was from a rich dad, right, that had financial success, and the other was from his actual father that he calls his poor dad, but that just wasn't knowledgeable in the money world. And then lastly, you got to find out evaluate your own personal experiences. So your childhood experiences, your social constructs, and the people that you're around, what you've learned or not learned, what you can learn, and then your personal experiences with money. Have you had a negative experience with money? Have you had a negative experience with, whatever, or a positive one? That's how your money mindset is and was developed. So those are the things you've got to go back and look at. The next step is, how do I go from where I am to where I want to be, right? So there are 7 steps that I didn't come up with this. I found it and I wrote it down because I thought it was a very articulate way of saying what I had seen this last week and talking to these people while I was out there. Number 1, there's 7 steps if you want to write this down. Number 1 is you got to let go of the past, whatever that is, and whatever your past financial failures or mistakes or whatever. You can't hang on to that. If you want to go in a different direction, you just can't keep looking back. We talk about that a lot. You can't look forward when you're constantly turned around looking backwards. Practice appreciation. Be thankful. We talk about this at the beginning and also at the end of the daily huddle meetings. Be thankful for what you've got. Be thankful for where you are. Find the things to be grateful for and appreciate them. Simply, that will bring you into a better place mentally than thinking about what you don't have, right? Or being envious of what other people have. Number 3, focus on abundance. Focus on the fact that the world around you is full of opportunity. and that you should be looking for the opportunities to make money or to make people's lives better, not looking at the lack of opportunity or seeing things from a scarcity mentality. A lot of times when people think about money, and this is why we've talked about people spend a lot more time on their budget than they do on their income, because they think about, oh my goodness, if I lose this money that's coming in, I won't be able to pay what? Instead of thinking, I need to make more money, or if I want to afford this, I need to go and increase my income. So focus on abundance. Think about that there's opportunity all around you and look for it, and it will all of a sudden appear. It's amazing.
I think that's an important place to pause and talk about. One of our mentors very, very early on in the money business, when we got into this world, everything we do is commission only, right? And so we go from this salaried comfortable, which was very uncomfortable because we didn't make enough money, but in our brains, we got paid every month, right? Every single month that paycheck would hit our account every single month. And to go from that guarantee to commission was unnerving, and it was unsettling. And we did have 2 small babies at the time, and just trying to figure out how to bridge that transition. And our mentor at the time said, she said, sit down and put on paper what your needs have to be, right? And then forget about it and put your head down and go to work. Because if all you do is focus on that piece of paper, you might make that amount, but you're probably going to make less. But if you know what it has to be, and then you put your head down, ignore it, and you go to work, you'll always make more. And we always have. And I think that's as counterintuitive as it sounds. It's the best advice we've ever given. You can talk about paddling in the river, because it's the same advice. It's just a different context.
Yeah, and that what she's referring to, my dad's big whitewater boater and has been my whole life. And a lot of lessons come from what's around you, right? And he used what you're focused on. So if you've ever been paddling in a kayak or a canoe down a river, one of the things you want to avoid are the rocks in the middle of the stream. So you can,
they'll flip you over.
They will. But if you focus on it and you stare at the rocks themselves, you're going to go right at the rocks, I promise. But if you focus on where the water is going and where you want to go, instead of focusing on where you don't want to go, miraculously, you will paddle your boat in that direction. So it's a lot about focus and about the direction that you look. That means a lot to where you end up. So you're going to say something?
I was just going to say, if you don't believe us, try it.
yeah, do that.
We did that once, right? Down the Nantahala.
Yeah,
way pregnant.
That was.
Don't hit the rock. You see it? I've seen it. Don't hit the rock. Okay, I'm not going to hit the rock.
We hit the rock.
We hit the rock.
So that brings us to point number 4, though. So number 3 was focus on abundance and look for. And I'll close out number 3 by saying, if you've ever bought a new car, or you've ever been shopping for a new car, this is the easiest way that I can make everybody just click real quickly, is that if you think that you bought this new car and you're so excited about it, and then all of a sudden all around you everybody else has the same car, you start to see that model, you start to see that, and it just pops up everywhere. Those cars were there before you got yours. You just now have started to focus on that model and that car. So what's around you is opportunity, and if you focus on opportunity, you'll see it. If you focus on a lack of, you won't see it. So moving on to number 4, which is educate yourself. So focus on abundance was number 3. Number 4 is educate yourself. This kind of goes back to my Zig Ziglar quote, right? I know big TVs are great, and I know rich people have big TVs, but the point in his quote was spend less time in being fed from the television and more time eating from books, right? And learning and reading, listening to podcasts and things like that. So you can grow your mind instead of, watching a television screen. So educate yourself, read books, listen to other people that know about those things. Talk to people that are successful. Absolutely. Which leads us to number 5, which is surround yourself with people that are like you want to be. It's funny, we had this at the same event. One of the speakers said that if you're the smartest guy in the room, then you're in the wrong room. And that means that you should always be surrounding yourself with people that can lift you up and can educate you and those kind of things. Anyway, So surround yourself with the atmosphere, with the people that put you in that positive mindset. And one of the big things you got to do is be able to realize when you are not in that mindset. That's next. Number 6, avoid negative self-talk and avoid negative inputs. We had, so one of the guys that founded our company, guy named Hubert Humphrey, was speaking from stage when we were in Las Vegas, and he's a big Superman fan, right? So he was talking about the one thing that makes Superman weak is kryptonite, right? It's an element from his planet that when he touches it or is around it on Earth makes him weak. And he referenced that to what makes all of us weak mentally is what he called kryptonite, which I thought was funny. And he said it's all the crap that's around you that you allow in your thought process, that you allow in your, maybe I won't be successful, or maybe I won't be able to get this stuff done, or I can't, or any of that kind of talk. That's kryptonite, right? That's going to get inside your mind, and you're going to start to believe what you say to yourself. Your subconscious is listening always, and your subconscious is what acts, believe it or not. And what we feed our mind through our own self-talk is very, very, very powerful. So remember that, to give yourself a pat on the back when you get up in the morning and talk about those kind of things. And then lastly, out of those 7 things is practice generosity. It's also one of our tenets, which is to give, right? Practice giving. If you operate in an area of abundance and you think about opportunity everywhere, and you practice generosity, you just have an entirely different energy flow. You have an entirely different perspective on the world. It's funny. It's somewhat annoying, I know, for a lot of us, but I've just become a practice. If I go to the grocery store and they're taking money for, like, they have a Publix right down the road from us. We did some grocery shopping yesterday, and they have it is, Kimberly says, very annoying, but they ask you at the checkout line almost every single time, would you like to donate $1 to Children's Miracle Network or whatever else? And I've just gotten in practice of just saying yes. Why not? So yesterday it was for school supplies for kids that need help getting school supplies. I was like, yes, add $5 to my bill. That's fine. That will go somewhere else. And so just that practice of being generous for just the sake of being generous. Let's have some conversation. Let's have some chat about this stuff, because I think this could really be a game changer for a lot of people out there to understand that not only is financial success attainable by them, but it's totally and completely controlled by what's between their ears and how they approach their day. So anybody have any comments or questions about what we just talked about?
Hey, Cece. Unmute yourself.
Hey.
Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning.
You've got bad connection. Can you hear me?
Sorry. I
It's
can hear you, but I'll get off.
Oh,
Can you hear me now?
it's still robot-y. If you get in a better spot, try to unmute again and let's chat. But in the meantime, I think mindset is so important, right? And it's something that we were really super lucky and blessed early on in our lives. Zack and I met when I was 19 and he was 21, and we were always big dreamers. So we were always listening and looking and hoping. And both of us came from, traditional employees, right? Both sets of our parents were traditional employees. They did really well. They were at the top of their employee food chain, but they were still employees. So for us to make that transition to entrepreneur and to the financial abundance and changing our mindset, it's been a constant. How old am I now? 25. Oh yeah, we'll be married 25 years in a few days.
Yeah.
But it's been a constant 25, 27-year lesson of teaching yourself and retraining your mind and reprogramming your mind. And, so I think that's something to remember also, is this isn't going to happen overnight, but you can take those small pieces and you can retrain your brain to see what you want it to see, right? We always find exactly what we're looking for. So don't forget that, right? So what are you looking for? I think that goes to this entire conversation.
Yeah. And from that, and that's just really been kind of on my thought process all week last week, is what differentiates people that are successful. And we were in a room of 4,000 people. And they were, some people just getting started on this journey of financial awareness, and other people that have been doing it for a while, and incomes from, zero, just getting a new license, to people that were making multiple millions of dollars a year. And all of that, we're all the same people, right? We put our pants on one leg at a time, as the saying goes. So, Sorrel, what would you like to add to this? I know this is something you like to talk about a lot as well.
Oh my God. I just want to steal the term crap tonight from you guys. So
We
I'm
stole it.
asking
You can
for
have it.
official permission to just spread it all over the world. Now, what's showing up for me, guys, is that it's difficult to avoid crap tonight, because Lex Luthor, which is humanity, is around, and Lex Luthor knows that as Superman, I'm susceptible and weakened when I'm close to crap tonight. So I'm grateful for the term, because now it leaves me in the practice of knowing that right around the corner, not that I'm focusing on crap tonight, but like right around the corner is crap tonight waiting to happen. And crap tonight ends up being my access to, sheesh, man, I see crap tonight. I go to the next phone booth and I change.
Yeah.
And I fly up and away. I love Superman, by the way. So the whole analogy just leaves me completely empowered to, in any moment of my life, transform. Crap tonight, phone booth, fly away, boom.
Done. I love it. It is. And that's it. I think that's one of the biggest pieces, is being able to recognize when you're getting it, when you're near it, right? Because a lot of us think of it as news, right? I got to be informed. Well, if you turn on the regular news out there, you're gonna get a lot of crap tonight. I don't care what channel it is or who. It does not matter. You're going to get a lot of crazy negative input into your hard drive. So, Cece, let's give it a try. See if we can hear you again.
How now?
I think it's better.
Is
Keep
it still
talking.
clear?
You're better
Oh,
for sure.
great. Good morning, everyone. Yes, I learned all of my negative thinking, about finances going up. So yes, I'm letting go of the past on how I learned how to do things, and how I'm doing when it comes to thinking, especially after reading Robert Kiyosaki's book, and I'll go back and do the audio again just as a reminder. And there's abundance everywhere. I love it when you said to write down your budget and don't keep looking at it, but just go. And I'm going to use.
Well, I think we dropped Cece, but from what I heard, she said that she's letting go of the past, which was something that we talked about, and then write down and know your budget. And I think that's important. We talked about that. It's not, you can't just say, I'm not going to worry about my bills, right? You can't just say, I know I owe all that, but I'm just going to go to work.
It's going to happen.
You've got to know that it's there and have a plan to pay it, and make sure that you stay in a positive financial direction, but then don't focus on it. And I tell people all the time that love their job or love what they do. It's like, it's not about hating or leaving where you are. It's about asking yourself the question, can I go to work harder, or smarter and make more money where I am? And if I can't, then my choices are to either find an avenue or an opportunity where I can do that, or focus on that budget and try to squeeze as much as I can out of the money that I make. So we've talked in previous episodes about how difficult it is, almost impossible to save your way to wealth, especially if you get involved with saving later, if you didn't get that knowledge and that education early on. But creating an avenue to increase your cash flow is something that I think everybody should be looking for. And realizing from that perspective, where am I, what can I do, and how do I get there? But having a plan to pay your bills, knowing what they are, knowing that they're covered, and then go to work and focus on abundance.
And I think that that appreciation, right? The thankfulness too. I am super thankful for where we are right now. This isn't my pinnacle, right? This isn't my ultimate end all be all dreams and goals, but I'm super appreciative and super thankful about where I am right now. And I think that's important for all of us to remember, is to be thankful for where you are. It doesn't mean that you're complacent, right? It doesn't mean that you're okay. It doesn't mean that you don't have further to go, but it does mean that you can take a pause and listen to the birds sing and look around you and really appreciate where you are right now. So I think that's a big one too. I think it's a big piece to really change your mindset. Whether it's people that can't pay their bills, then what are you thankful for financially? There are pieces, I'm sure, even if you have to kind of dig down and dissect what you're actually thankful for, there are pieces that you're thankful for. So find that and focus on that, and that will grow. It always does. And then finally, I'll leave you guys with something our youngest daughter Harper taught us one time. She came home from school in like second grade or whatever, right? And in Charleston, you guys might know this or you might not know this, but we have this bridge that everybody walks, so that the entire side of it over the intercoastal is a walking area, like walking and biking over the Ravenel Bridge. And it's a pretty steep trek. It's about 5 miles if you go over and back. But it's not just a flat walk. It's up and down, and if you come back, then obviously you go back the other way. And so we decided we were going to walk the bridge as a family, and Harper was not happy. She was not having it, right? And she's puffing and puffing up that bridge, and she's like, I can't do it, and then all of a sudden she said yet, and I said, what'd you say? And she said, I can't do it yet. And I was like, what'd you say? It was so powerful to me. And she said that her teacher, Mr. Scott, taught her about the power of yet. And she said, I can't run this bridge yet, but one day I know I will if I continue to work for this. And so I think that we should all take the power of yet in our lives and remember, whether we aren't where we are financially or our mindset's not where it should be. I don't know that our mindset will ever be where it should be. It is always a continual perfection of what we do and who we are and what we see. But just remember the power of yet. It's okay that you're not there, right? As long as you say yet. But if you accept failure, then you're accepting failure. So always add that yet to the end of it. And I think it'll change the way I look at things.
It is funny how that one word can change a comment from a negative self-talk to a positive affirmation. So play with that throughout your day and realize when you say, I can't do this, and you add yet to it, how it changes the way you feel about that situation. So glad to have these conversations. I think that this gets me started. The thought process about these things gets me started on my day. And I just love this conversation and empowering others to change their mind, their mindset, and also their direction. So as we go out into our day today, let's remember our 8 tenets. We talked about a few of these as they apply to money today, but love, laugh out loud, stress less, eat mostly plant-based, take care of your body, and give. Remember that generosity, sleep, get rest, move, get up and walk that bridge, even if you can't run it yet, right? And check yourself before you wreck yourself. And guys, remember, we will be live and in person in Alpharetta, Georgia on August the 12th. and registrations are live.
All of us.
All of
So
us will be
super
there,
excited to
yes.
see you there.
Unlock Your Power. The Daily Huddle's master training and networking event is live for registrations at thedailyhuddleevent.com. We will see you in person there, and we will see you right back here tomorrow for the Daily Huddle.
Have a good week, guys.
Thank you. Excellent job.
Super excited.
Looking forward.